My fellow deep thinkers, welcome to Deeper Meaning Time. Today is a Thinker Series episode 6, and today I wanted to touch base with you guys on time itself, and with just a couple questions and a couple things to point out to us. Basically, guys, let's think about this. Just ask yourself, how long have we been here as a civilization? How long have we been on this earth? Some records indicate, just a few thousand years. Some records, and when I mean records, I kind of mean our American history textbooks that were taught in school. Because when you're a child, you're at the mercy of what the state and what the local governments want to teach you. And it's not adequate enough, in my opinion, because of the fact that after school, when I got out of high school, I then realized that we weren't as old as they'd been teaching us. Basically, in school, I want to say that we're all taught about 6,000 years. That's about as old as America is, or not America, that's about as old as civilization is. But I'm here to tell you today, and maybe a lot of you already know this, that's incorrect. We have records now that show that humans, whether they're Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, whether they're Denisovans, it doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is that we've been here for more than 6,000 years, more than the Bible says, more than most religious texts say. And it only isn't until the past couple decades did we really start finding out that we have been here for a really long time. And that's mind-blowing to me. I mean, absolutely mind-blowing. The fact that there are records that prove and show that humans existed well before 12,000 years ago today. And when you think about it, God, that's a long time from now. I mean, that was a long time. And there's even people that are, or there's even records that show from archaeological digs and from excavations of tombs and excavations of caves and different chambers, they find that we have ancestors that have been here for, I want to say, over 100,000 years. So, I mean, we have dating that goes back a really long time. But why are we taught in school that we've only been here for 6,000 years? I mean, microbial life, and that's also what they tell us, is that we came from microbial life. So if we came from microbial life, that would have had to have taken millions of years to evolve and change from being microbes into a type of species that could walk onto land. Guys, come on. It's a long, long time ago that this would have had to happen. So records probably don't even show accurately when we began to exist here on Earth, because I'm betting it was probably millions of years ago. Who knows? It will only take more time to do more digging and more archaeological excavations and things of that nature to find the truth of how long we've been on planet Earth. But some people, and they use different hieroglyphs and cave paintings, things of that nature, to determine that maybe we haven't come from Earth. Maybe we weren't from Earth. And so that would be why our records indicate only 6,000 years, or here, let's put it this way, from 6 to 12,000 years ago was the last of, was when the beginning of humans showed up here on Earth. So if we have records that date way, way, way back, and prove that people existed a long, long time ago, then what are the chances that they either died off from natural causes or natural disasters, or like some people believe, our earliest ancestors were actually visited by humans. Really, in my opinion, they were humans. Some people believe they were giants, or they were winged humans of some kind, like cherubs. I think that's what they're called. Anyway, the point is that we may be, and it's just a maybe we came from a form of extraterrestrial intelligence that is human in nature. And 6 to 12,000 years ago, and before that, perhaps they came here. And perhaps, and I'm going to point this out because this is something that I haven't read before, and it's just something I'm thinking about. So if we have records that show, right, a long, long time ago, there were humans. So, and then they disappeared. We don't have records. Like, there's no in-between records. There's either hundreds of thousands of years ago they lived, with like Denisovans or something, or just Homo erectus himself, all the way up until, let's say, all the way up until, let's just call it the pyramids. Let's just use the pyramids. The erection of the pyramids was, it's going to be our point there. And so between a long, long time ago and when the pyramids were built, perhaps there had been two things. One, perhaps we had been taken, in a sense, by extraterrestrials, or not necessarily taken, but maybe we just lived amongst them for a time being, while they showed us and perfected our way of life and our ways of thinking to help us develop into the people we are today. That is a theory. That is a sound theory that actually people already firmly believe in. I believe it's called seed theory, where we basically were, a long time ago, we didn't really exist, or what existed was just Homo sapiens, null-minded, just animals, really, at that point still. And extraterrestrials would come, and they'd visit, and then they'd impregnate, and they would teach, and they would raise a whole new generation of our ancestors that then became to be mindful and smart and understanding things. Where then, now we're leading into like Greeks and then into like Egyptians, where they possibly were visited again. So who really knows how old we really are? Maybe we came from extraterrestrials. Maybe we came out of the ocean. But maybe if we came out of the ocean, it was millions of years ago, and we just don't really have a bunch of evidence to prove it. And really, I think that's kind of just speculation that we came out of the ocean. So do we really have a good idea of where we came from? Or when? No, not really. In my opinion, I just like the idea that it wasn't just 6,000 years ago. I mean, when you think about it, that's a very small amount of time, in terms of time within the universe. Things go on for billions and trillions of years, and have been for some time. That's incredible. So to say that 6,000 years ago was the max, basically, of human existence, that makes zero sense. Zero sense. So I definitely don't buy into that at all. I definitely buy into humans being on Earth and collaborating with each other, perhaps collaborating with extraterrestrials, way before the Younger Dryas, before 12,000 years ago. So we're talking like 15, 16,000 years ago, maybe more. There's probably more. But so how long do you guys think we've been here? You can't firmly say, I don't think. I don't think we have enough evidence to firmly put a finger down on the exact date of when humans existed here. And like I said, in my opinion, I do believe that we came from a type of extraterrestrial, a species that is humanoid, and is like us, and it was a long time ago. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Hopefully with time we'll figure out. But with time, when you think about time, we've created time, humans. Time to the universe, time doesn't exist. There is no time. What good would time do to the universe? It doesn't do it any time. The universe is never ending. There isn't a day by day, like, tomorrow is October 11th of the universe. No, it's not thinking like that. It doesn't care at all what day it is or what time it is. So, whoa, time itself is kind of an odd thing to even begin to discuss, because what is time? Who really needs time? I mean, we use time as humans so that we can construct our day on a scheduled basis, and sure, that's great and everything's cool about it, but what if we didn't have time? What if we didn't have time to constrain us to a workplace, or to our bedrooms, or time in your vehicles on your way to work, or time on vacation, just time period, you spending time. If we didn't think about it as time, would we get more done? Would there be more progress, more innovation, because you're not considering the time you have left, and what time there is to come, and what's going to happen at this time? You're not worried about that. There is no time. It's just life, and you just live. I mean, in my opinion, that sounds like a really great way to live. I would love to forget about time. Time does give great structure to things, but it's not necessary, in my opinion. If we, as a civilization, if we can move away from using time, we are so dependent on time. Something that isn't even real. That doesn't make much sense. So guys, I think we have a lot of work to do in terms of figuring out our history, figuring out how we should live. What's the right way to live? And everybody, we can't sit here and say we know what we're doing, and we know what we're doing is right, and it's the right thing to do, and everything's figured out already. There's no need to change anything. We're doing everything right. I don't believe that at all. There's always room for change. Always. And especially in our civilization, in our society, in this country, in our whole world. There is a lot of change that we need to undergo, in my opinion. And if you agree with me, then I'm going to have to say that it's probably going to be a younger-minded generation of folks that are going to be the ones to push us and to get us to that changing point. And maybe it's coming soon. Who knows? But so guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Think about those two things. How long have we been here? And what really is time? Let's think. Let's think about these things, because nobody else does. We all sit around and we just go on about our days. We don't consider anything. I mean, Mother Nature's simple, and life is simple. But it's not so simple that we need to ignore it. I hope that hits home. We need to pay attention to this life. We don't know it. We don't know what we're doing. We don't have it figured out. We haven't even been here long enough to figure it out. But anyway, think about it, guys. So with every revolution of the Earth, let's keep this discussion going. Because that's what deeper meaning time is all about. Exploring the endless thoughts and curiosities we have every day, and discovering all the deeper meanings time has to offer. And my name's Evan. Thanks for listening.